Namaskar and good morning to everyone. Let's start our Sunday Gita class with the Gita mantras. Om Parthaye Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayan Swayam Vyasen Gratitam Puran Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritvarshinim Bhagavati Mashtadashadhyayane Am Tvam Anusandhame Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshine Namo Astu Te Vyas Vishal Buddhe Pul Arvind Ayat Patra Netar येन तव्या भारत तैल पूर्णः प्रज्वलितो ज्ञानमया प्रदीपः प्रपान्न पारी जाताये तोत्र वेत्र एकपानये ज्ञान मुद्राय कृष्णाय गीता अमृत दुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोगदा गोपाल नंदना पार्थो वत्सा सुधीर भोगता दुग्धम गीता अमृतम महत् वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंस चाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानंदं कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं भीष्म द्रोण तटा जयद्रथ जला गांधार नीलोत्पला शल्य ग्राहवती कृपेन वहने कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थाम विकर्ण घोर मकरा दुर्योधन अवर्तने सोतीर्णा खलु पांडवै रन्नदी कवर्तका केशवा पाराशरे वत्सरोजमलं गीता अर्थगंधोटकं नानाख्यानक केसरं हरिकथा संबोधन अबोधितं लोके सज्जन षट्पदे रह पे पिए मानम मुदा भूयाद भारत पंकजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसे न श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघ्यते गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे परमानंद माधवम् यम ब्रह्म वरुण इंद्र रुद्र मरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवे वेदे पदक्रम उपनिषदै यम सामगा ध्यानवस्थि तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यम योगिनो यस्यन्तं न विदुषुर असुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः. Last week we finished Vishad Yoga, chapter 1. So today we are going to start the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya. Philosophically, if we look at Bhagavad Gita, it really takes us from a Karam Yoga, that is a Nishkam Karama, selfless service, that is like a very first step on this ladder of improvement, because we are here to improve. That is our goal, to improve, to know our real nature. So the message we're going to get from these chapters, we condense them. So Lord Krishna is going to tell Arjun that do your duty without looking at the outcome. Do your duty beautifully, skillfully, selflessly. That's a Karam Yoga. But then he's going to tell us, don't just stay there. You have to add upasana to it. Upasana means offer your actions to God. That's upasana. Whatever you are doing, it's not only your actions in the mandir, in the altar, it's everywhere, outside of the altar too. Whatever you do, think you are doing it for God. Then he says, don't stay there either. That's not the highest. Start seeing Brahma everywhere. Hey, Brahma Bhuta, Brahma Bhava. Okay? So that is the highest. That's why some people, they say that, yeah, in Karam Yoga, in Bhagavad Gita, there's a Karam Yoga. Then there's a Bhakti Yoga. Then there's a Jnana Yoga. So Karam is, yeah, we got to do the Karam. We are in a Karam Yoni. Do your actions properly. But then Bhakti, do it for God. Then Jnana, Everywhere is Brahma. There's no place where Brahma is not. That is the Gyan. Okay? So this is, just keep this in your mind while you are, because sometimes in this so many verses, hundreds of verses, we can get lost. Sometimes there's a repetition also. But this is the main idea of Lord Krishna's teachings to us. It's a practical way of living Gita. So let's see the first verse where Sanjay, the charioteer, is narrating that scene again to Dhritarashtra. Because we saw that at the end of the last chapter, Arjun just sat down on the seat of the chariot. He casted aside his weapons and he said, I'm not going to fight. So now Sanjay is saying, Tam tatha kripya avishtam ashru purna kuleshanam vishidantam idam vakyam uvach madhu sudana. Come to him. Tatha. Thus, kripya, with pity. Avishtam, overwhelmed. It's like somebody who has overcome with the emotion, avishtam. Ashru puran kuleshanam, with eyes filled with tears and klesh. Klesh is the agitation. Okay, so there's an agitation in the mind and eyes are filled with tears. Vishidandam, despondent. So it's the same word. The title of the last chapter, Vishad. Vishidantam, despondent. When they say grief is so much. Idam means this, vakyam, speech or words. Uvach, that means spoke or said. Madhusudana, that is Lord Krishna. So Sanjay said, to him who was thus overcome with pity and grief, with eyes full of tears and agitated, Madhusudan said these words. Okay, because you remember in the first chapter, Lord Krishna hardly spoke, just half a verse. Over here, he's going to start talking. So the second chapter, in the opening, we can see that Sanjay is announcing this to that blind king. The picture of that war zone, what is Arjun doing and how the Krishna is going to speak now. So it's not only a mental condition of Arjun, Sanjay is narrating over here, but he is giving a hint over here that how his personality is being cracked now. Crying, a warrior like Arjun, tears in the eyes, how grief-stricken he must be. He's overwhelmed with the emotions. But this term kripya, we talked about it in the first chapter also. Compassion, pity. Sometimes, sure, compassion is good. We should have a compassion. Okay? It should melt our heart. When we see somebody else hurting, it cleanses our mind. But compassion is of two types. There's a divine compassion and there's a material compassion. Divine compassion is good. Divine compassion saints feel towards people like us. That's why they teach us. That's why they serve the humanity out of divine compassion. But the other compassion is a material compassion. And that's what Arjuna is feeling right now. He's feeling this material compassion, distress, out of the attachment to his relatives, to the people who are standing there, and a little fear of his own life also, because he saw that Bhisham Pitama is standing over there, ready to fight with him. His own guru, Dronacharya, is standing there too. So Arjun is overcome by grief and despair. Looks like he is the one who needs the compassion. He's not at the place where he can bestow compassion for others. So what did Lord Krishna say in the second verse? Kutahatva kashmalam idam vishme sam upastitam anarye jushtam aswargyam akirti karam arjuna. Kutaha. Kutaha means from where? Tava. You. Kashmalam. Delusion or dejection. Idam means this. Vishme. In this hour of carol. Sam upastitam come. Anarye. Anarye is like an unworthy, like a crude person. Jushtam, practiced by. Aswargyam. See, swarg is heaven. Aswarg means out of heaven. Akirti karam, disgraceful. And Arjun, where is this perilous condition has come upon you? This dejection, this delusion, un-Aryan-like, heaven excluding, disgraceful, O Arjun. So Lord Krishna is using pretty tough words over here. Because he is Arya. He knew that he is Arya. And this Arya does not mean any ethnic group or a race. Manu Samriti defines Arya as a highly evolved person, a cultured person, a person who knows what to do and what not to do, how to behave. So Arya really means a goodness. See, just like we use the word perfect gentleman. Okay? Arya is like that. So the aim of the Vedic scriptures is to induce humans to become Aryans. In all respect. That means how to behave, how to live this life. So Arjun thought that Krishna will comfort me. But instead of comforting him, he's making Arjun uncomfortable about his current state. We all feel uncomfortable when we are confused, because that is not a natural condition of our mind. Mind likes calmness, comfort. So the feeling of discontentment, if we properly channelize, that feeling can become very powerful for us to walk on the right path. So that's why Lord Krishna is bringing this to Arjun's mind, that this condition which you are in right now is not worthy of you. So he is characterizing Arjun's behavior as un-Aryan. Sometimes we tell our children the same way too. When they were little, I mean, not when they are old, we should not do that, but when they were little, growing age, they were still molding. We'll talk to them. What is the purpose of life? Remember your ancestors, the kind of a family you belong to, how much you have gotten from this society. You got to learn to give back also. So this is kind of a fatherly advice, older brother's advice. Lord Krishna is giving it to him. Okay? So he's saying that Arya, you are Arya, very sensitive person. Sensitive both in the righteousness, in the nobility, in your thoughts, as well as in your actions. So this divine charioteer is extremely surprised at the attitude of Arjuna, his friend, because he knew Arjun for so long. So the mood of dejection was quite alien for Krishna to see Arjun like that. So that's why the expression of wonderment over here, that, hey, what happened to you? Okay? We all want to improve. So Swarg means we are here to move up, but this kind of a behavior and action will take you downward. That's what Swargam means. Let's look at what else Lord Krishna is saying. Kalabhyam ma smagama parth na etat tavyai upapadyate Kshudram hriday dorbalyam tyaktvaha utishth paramatap. Kalabhyam, that is like a impotence or unmanliness. Ma means do not. Sama gamaha, yield to. So that means do not yield to. Parth is Arjuna. Na means not. Etat this. Tavai in you. Upapadyate is fitting. Kushudram, mean or petty or small. Hriday dorbalyam, weakness of the heart. Okay, Hriday is over here heart, durbal heart. Okay, that's like a common language we use. Hriday dorbalyam, weakness of the heart. Tyaktava, having abundant or giving up. Utteshta, stand up, because he was sitting down. So stand up, arise. Paramatap, that is for Arjun, scorcher of the enemies. Paramatap, because he was like that, the greatest of the warrior of his time. So Lord Krishna says, yield not to impotence. Be a man. O Parth, it does not suit you. Cast off this mean weakness of heart. Stand up, O scorcher of enemies. As I said earlier, Lord Krishna was silent all this time. Now he is bursting with all these very strong words he's using. This Kalabhyam word means mental attitude of a person who's neither masculine, that means not strong enough in the body, and neither compassionate enough as a female. That's a Kabalya. Okay, because soft emotions are in women, but that soft emotions, proper soft emotions. So Lord Krishna, so he has, because he knew that decision has been made to wage this war. And this war was not between Arjun and Dronacharya. This war was between Dharam and Adharam, the righteousness and the unrighteousness. So now when he saw the tears flowing down Arjun's cheeks, eyes, so he is using these words to straighten him out. So that's why in these two verses, he is ending up his appeal to Arjun to get up and act. Get up and act. Do what you are supposed to do. And now what does Arjun say in reply? He says, Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhya Dronam Cha Madhusudana Ishubhi Prati Yotsayamihi Pujaham Arisudana. Katham, how? Bhishmam Aham, I. Sankhya, in the battle. Dronam, Dronacharya. Cha means and, Madhusudana, Krishna. Ishubhi, with arrows. Prati Yotsayami, shall fight. Pujaham, worthy to be worshipped. Arisudan. Ari means that it's like a destroyer of enemies. Ari means enemies. So destroyer of enemies, and that word is used for Arjun. Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna is the one he is talking to him. So how, O Madhusudan, shall I in battle fight with arrows against Bhishma and Dronacharya, who are fit to be worshipped, O destroyer of enemies, O Krishna? Okay? Because Lord Krishna said, you should get up, you should do what you are supposed to do. This is how can I do it? So, in spite of those harsh words Lord Krishna used in the last two verses, Arjun is not ready to reconsider his decision. Because he said earlier, I'm not going to fight. So he's repeating himself with a few more arguments that why he should not fight the battle against the grandfather, Bhisham Pitamaha, and his Guru Dev, Dronacharya. Because we know the culture, the Vedic culture is with the elders, it's not proper to even argue. All of you know that when an elder person comes into the room, what did we do when we were little? Right away we stood up. We would never keep sitting when the elder entered the room. We offered the seat. So he says, these are my elders, my guru, my grandfather. So in a way, he's saying that do not doubt my courage. I am prepared to fight. But from the perspective of my moral duty, because my moral duty is to respect my elders, my teachers, and I'm supposed to have compassion towards other people, the younger to me also. How can I fight? Okay, so again, just remember, he's giving these arguments from that I perspective. How can I do it? He's forgetting the bigger picture. And Lord Krishna is just reminding him again and again about the bigger picture. That this is not a fight between Arjuna and the grandfather. Okay? Because otherwise we can always have these arguments. And then what else he says? Continuation of this, his argument. Gurun ahatvaha hi mahanubhavan shreya bhoktum bhakshyam api ih loke hatva arth ka मान tu gurun ih ev bhunjiye bogan rudhir pradigadan. Gurun, teachers, ahatvaha, instead of slaying. See, hatva is slaying, ahatva instead of slaying. He means indeed Mahanubhav, most noble. Shreya, better. Bhogtum, to eat. Bhakshyam, the alms. Api means even. Ih means here. Loke, in the world. Hatva, having slain. Arth kaman. Earth is the wealth, kam is the desire. So wealth and desire. Tu means indeed gurun, guru. Ihi here, ev means also, bhunjiye, enjoy. Bhogan, enjoyment. Rudhir, pradigadhan, stained with blood. Better indeed in this world is to eat even the bread of beggary. bhiksha, than to slay the most noble of teachers. But if I kill them, even in this world, all my enjoyments of wealth and desires will be stained with the blood. Okay? So he's continuing with these high sounding arguments over here, because he estimated the whole situation wrongly. He did not understand it. He's looking at it definitely from a moral point of view, from an ethical goodness also. So sure, Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama, they are Mahanubhav, but not in this situation. They have taken the side of adharma, unrighteous. Okay? So once we misread a situation, what happens? The sentiments which are arising in us, they are clouded. They cloud our understanding. So we justify what we are feeling, but there's a clouded estimate. So that's what's happening to Arjuna. So that's what Vyasji is trying to bring it out to us. That this is exactly what happens in our life also. We will use the arguments from the scriptures to justify our own actions and our own feelings sometimes. Because we all want to look so ethical. न च एतत् विद्मः कतरत् न गृह्य यत् व ज्येय यदि वा न ज्येय यान एव हत्वा न जीविषामः ते अवस्थिता प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्रः. No means not, ch means and, etat this. Vidma, we know. Katrat, which. No means for us, griya, better. Yat, that. Va means or, jaya, conquer. Yadi means if, va means or, na, us, ju, they should conquer. Yan means whom, ev, even, hatva, killing. No means not, jivishamaha, wish to live. Te means those, avasthita, standing, arrayed. Pramukhe, in face, Dhartarashtra, son of Dhritarashtra, that blind king, his cousins. He says, I can scarcely say which will be better. That we should conquer them or they should conquer us. Even the sons of Dhritarashtra, after slaying, when we do not wish to live, stand facing us. So he is evaluating the most suitable course of action here. Because whenever we are at a crossroad, we always consider various alternatives and their consequences. And that's what he is doing over here. So it's like a split within his mental personality and from his intellect. So that's why he cannot easily come to any definite decision. He says, I don't know which one is better. They should kill us or we should kill them. So it's like a poor Arjuna. He is definitely victimized. Not so much from the external world, because he has waged many wars before. This is nothing new to him. But his own mental condition, his own mind and his own intellect. Intellect cannot decide and mind is extremely agitated. So from this verse, we can see Vyasji is indicating to us the extreme mental condition of Arjuna. Okay? What is really happening? He doesn't know. Cannot decide. Then he says, Karpanye dosh उपहत स्वभावा प्रचामि त्वाम धर्म समूढ़ चेता य श्रेया स्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तत्मे शिष्येते अहम शाधि माम त्वाम प्रपन्नम कर्पण्य दोष उपहत स्वभावा. With the nature, स्वभाव is the nature, overwhelmed by the taint of pity. Okay? Prichyami, I ask. Tvam, to you. Dharam samud chetaha, with the mind in confusion about the duty. I don't know what my dharam is. Okay? Ya means which, Shreya, good. Sayat may be. Nishchitam, decisively. Bruhi, tell or say. Tat means that. May for me. Shishya, disciple. Te means yours. Aham, I. Shadhi, teach. Mam, me. Tvam, to you. Parpannam, that means surrender or taken refuge. My heart is overwhelmed by the taint of pity. Karpanya dosh. My mind is confused as to my duty. I ask you, tell me decisively what is good for me. This Shreya word is what is good in the long run. You're familiar with these two words, pray and Shreya. Pray is what is pleasing. What is pleasing to my senses. Shreya is what is good in the long run for me. So he knows Shreya is better. So that's why he is not, pray will be, run away from here. But Shreya. So tell me decisively what is good for me. Now, first time he is saying, I am your shishya. I am your disciple. Instruct me. Then he says, I have taken refuge in you. Surrender. And this surrender is not just one time. This surrender, we got to be very diligently, very actively. Sometimes people say, no, I have taken I am surrendered. I've accepted a guru. But actively, you don't see that in their actions or in their attitude. This is something we need to work on as a disciple, as a student. It's not just once and that is it. No. Very diligently, very actively. We got to be aware of it. Are we surrendered or not? That's what we'll see over here also. Arjun, even after saying I'm surrendered, but he'll say, no, I'm going to fight it. Because in this verse, he says, tell me decisively, what should I do? Then he knows what Krishna is saying, but still he will say, I will not. And this is what happens to our life also. Okay? So something to learn from these verses. So Arjun has definitely at this point realized the helplessness in him. He knows that I cannot come to a decision. That's why he says, I'm surrendering to you. And he knows the difference between dharma and adharma at this moment. That's why he used the word dharma samud cheta and shreya, these terms. He is well versed. That's another thing we should learn. Sometimes we know, theoretically we know, but when the time comes to really make the decision, can we use that knowledge or not? Because that takes practice too. And surrender helps us. Because what are we surrendering? We are surrendering our own ego. So in this confession that I am your disciple, there's a big message over here to us. The teacher and the taught, the guru and the disciple, there is a deep relationship. Deep relationship. The student or the disciple should have the attitude of surrender to his guru. Only then the teacher will accept that student, disciple, and then the teacher, only then the teacher says, yes, this is my duty. The guru does not take the responsibility unless the disciple has surrendered. That's what we see. Lord Krishna did not even say a full sentence in the first chapter. But now we'll see that after Arjun saying that I am your disciple, he is pouring his whole personality into him. He is showing the kindness. We'll see that he is giving the knowledge. He is showing the affection. He is showing the love also. 1,000 times more than a father or mother can. Because father and mother, that relationship is only one lifetime. But gurus, once we have a guru and we surrender, we have that attitude. And when we follow faithfully every bit of instruction as a disciple, that's what we need to do. One time I asked my Guruji, what is this seva? He says the real seva is just to do as Guru says. That is a real seva. And Guru does not say anything other than what the Vedic seers have said. Guru says, don't lie, don't cheat, don't hurt. Live a disciplined life. And if you do that, that's a seva. Otherwise, it's not a seva. Because the teachers or the Guru's responsibility is only if we have surrendered. Otherwise, Guru is connected with God. Guru is one with God. Okay? So the doubts can be removed only when there is a connection. All the Vedic scriptures, they declare this. That how important a presence of a Guru is in our growth. Only through the medium of this Guru, the spiritual master, we can receive divine knowledge. With our own intellect, this is only one mind or brain is thinking. But when we are getting this from a Guru, it's like a lineage of thousands and thousands of masters. So it's not only a knowledge, a theoretical knowledge, it's really a blessing which we receive. So that's why the presence of a Guru, but a Guru is only if we surrender. There is a Mundak Upanishad which says to know the absolute truth, approach a Guru who is both a knower of the scriptures and who is practically situated on the platform of God realization. So theoretically Guru knows, practically he is connected with God. That is a Guru. And when we approach to a Guru like that, so approaching really means surrendering. Approaching is not just physical enrollment, it's a surrendering. Ramayana said the same thing. No matter which book we open, we see the same message. Ramayana said, Guru bin bhav nidhi tarye na koi. Bhav means this worldly existence. Without Guru, we cannot cross this ocean of worldliness. Jan viranchi shankar samhoi. So what he's saying that not even the most elevated of the spiritual aspirant can cross the material ocean without the grace of the Guru. That's why when these avatars, When they come into a human body, they show us that they went through a lot of struggle to find the Guru. And then they surrendered also. What did Lord Krishna do when he went to Mandipni Rishi's ashram? He went into the jungle and got the dry wood. He went outside to beg for food also for the Guru, because that was the tradition then. What did Ram do? And in this Kali Yuga also, I see that the tradition which we follow, our Ishta Devata, Yogeshwar Prabhu Ramlal Ji, he went east, west, north, south to look for a Guru, realized Guru. Finally, when he found the Guru, what did he do? He served the Guru. He surrendered completely. When Guru, he wanted to be with the Guru on the Kailash Parvat, Guru said, no, go back. Give what I gave you to the householders because they need it the most. And he had to come back. He didn't want to. Because once you have a Guru, you don't want to leave the Guru. My own Guru Devji, he kept looking for a Guru. Not just a teacher, a Guru, a Satguru. Once he found it, that was it. Totally surrendered. Sometimes we think as a householder, we cannot surrender. All the yogi gurus are householders, majority of them. Very rare you will see a brahmachari. Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda had a guru. We are studying Saturdays, Vivek Chudamani, Adi Shankaracharya ji. He had a guru. So all the gurus, they had the gurus. And who is the first guru? In Yoga Darshan, Rishi Patanjali says, God is the original guru. All this is coming from God. But as a human body, when we are in this, we need to learn how to surrender. If we don't surrender, we're going to keep coming back here again and again, just like Ramayana said. Guru bin bhav nidhi tarye na koi. Nobody else can do it. You cannot buy it. We'll see when we reach the chapter 4, verse number 34. Lord Krishna says, learn the truth by approaching a Guru. Inquire from him with reverence and service. Such an enlightened saint can impart knowledge to you. Why? Because he has it. He can give it to us because he has it. If we don't have it, how can we give it? So now let's end it here, or maybe let me finish one more verse, because then we are done with Arjun's watch with this verse number 8. Nahi prapashyami mam apnyudhyat yat shokam ushoshnam indriyanam avapye bhumau supatnam ridham rajyam suranam apicha adhipatyam. Nahi, not prapashyami, I see. Mam means my. Apnudhyat would remove. Yat means that. Shokam, the sadness, the grief. Uchoshnam, dried up. Indriyanam, of my senses. Avapye, having obtained. Bhumau, on the earth. Asaptanam, unrivaled. Rhythm, prosperous. Rajyam, dominion. Suranam, over the devatas, the gods, like a celestial beings. Api means also, cha and adhipatyam, lordship. So Arjuna is saying, I do not see that it would remove this sorrow, this sadness. that burns up my senses. Even if I should attain prosperous and unrivaled dominion on earth, or even lordship over the gods. So over here, you can see two things. One is the urgency of guidance from a guru. The second thing you see, vairagya, detachment. He says, no matter what I can have a dominion over this world. But the sadness which I feel will not go away, this dejection which I feel. That is a vishal. That is a vairagya. Until we have this vairagya, we cannot expect to grow. Sometimes we even go to a guru to get something worldly. Over here we see in Arjun's words, he is not looking for anything worldly anymore. He is looking, he says, I have surrendered, just tell me what is good for me in the long run, Shreya. He says, this dominion over this kingdom is not going to help me. So that's why this urgency is very evident in Arjun's words over here. And he understands the burning aspiration he has for liberation also. So this is what Vivek is. Vivek, right discrimination. And he's asking for it. And we'll see that how Lord Krishna has accepted him as a disciple and how he pours out his love for him. Okay, so let's stop it here and we'll start our next week class from verse number 9. And today's, every week we need to take out something from the verses which we study. Today's, look at, it's very clear that if we want to become better, if that is what our deep desire is, we need to surrender. We need to surrender. Without surrender, it's not going to work. And Guru is important. Just pray to God. God is everywhere. Pray to God. Please send a Guru like that in my life. We cannot search for a Guru. Only thing we can do is surrender and pray to God. Then Guru appears, because otherwise there could be a great Guru. There could be a Brahma in our lifetime right in front of us. If we have not surrendered, it's not going to work. So surrender is needed. Okay? And surrender is not a weakness. Surrendering to the material wealth is a weakness. Surrendering to a Guru is a strength. Hanumanji surrendered to Lord Ram. What happened? He became God. He's worshipped all over the world. He surrendered. He says, I'm a das. I'm a servant. That is a surrender. So remember, surrendering to the material world makes us poor. Pitiable. Surrendering to Guru and the God makes us gods. So this is the lesson we need to learn, and we got to cultivate this quality in us. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadai Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much. So